farther.
That's good. That's good? Yeah. Am I all the way through?
You're not all the way through, but you're pretty much. You're all the way through.
A little bit higher. Alright. Hey, you're good.
Welcome back to the channel. We are currently about to start working on P-Pump swapping Mason's truck. You guys saw the last couple videos. We had nothing but problems out of this truck with the tuner, the PCM, and we're going to just put a P-Pump on it and run either an anteater or a full manual valve body. We haven't really decided yet. But anyways, we picked up the engine as you saw at the beginning of the video, or maybe right now. We picked up this engine and basically just took the pump off. We were going to use the cover off of it, but people were kind enough to tell us that this was broken, so that's pointless. So I mean, really, technically, you're supposed to change the cam gear. We may pull that off, but we got the pump off of it and the oil line that goes with it. So yeah, we're gonna start tearing his down and start swapping his over to a P-Pump style injection system, and it'll just be, you know, we won't have to worry about a tuner, and it'll just be a lot better setup, be able to make more power, more potential on it. So as soon as this truck cools down, we are going to get started and start taking her apart. But he just drove it here, so it's gonna be a second. Bailey also did pick up, this is a turbo for Bailey's truck. He wants to go a little bit bigger on the small turbo. It's a S369, the 1.0 exhaust housing. It's like brand new, T4 foot. So he's debating on putting it on or just running it as a single and taking the compounds off. I don't really know what he's gonna do. So. The first thing you're going to want to do if you P-Pump your truck, it's a lot easier in our scenario to just pull the hood off. It doesn't take long. You can just mark it with a Sharpie where your alignment is, and that way you won't have to mess with it when you put it back on. Basically, you're going to want to pull the whole front end off of the truck. It's pretty simple. You pull this cross floor support bar out. It's 10 millimeters on the back right there, 13s. There's a 13 bolt right there. And you pull this off, pull the intercooler and radiator out of the truck. We'll probably have to take the bumper off here shortly. Basically, we just want to strip down the front of the truck. I'm not going to go over extreme detail on how to do that. It's pretty simple. So we'll probably catch up whenever we get all this stuff off, and we'll start going through the process of what you actually have to do on the engine.
Pull up there then.
There you go. Water top is leak.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. When she hears you drive a Cummins. Yeah, I'm gonna grab another jug.
I mean, it's still hot. I can.
Oh my god. We're at jail.
Okay, so we've got the whole front end off of our truck and we started getting a little ahead of ourselves. But basically what we did was we pulled the serpentine belt off. You'll just take a 3/8 ratchet and you can sit here and take the tensioner loose, pull your belt off, and then take your fan off. It's 10 millimeter bolts, and you can get to the bottom bolt if you shave a 10 millimeter wrench down a little bit, and I do that so I don't have to mess with taking the fan on and off. Once you get to that point, pull your intake off, and then pull your harmonic balancer off. There's 4 bolts on it, and then we're going to take this cover off. It goes all the way around the front of the engine and pull it off. So we'll catch up with you when we get there.
Seen that.
I got the front cover pulled off. We were trying to record it and my GoPro messed up. But yeah, you just take all the bolts out around the front, get the cover off. Now we're going to remove the injection pump, get all this wiring stuff pulled off the side of it, and remove the injection pump and then pull the valve cover off so we can stick our dowels in through the side of the engine and pull the cam.
So we're going backwards a little bit. We're going to throw the front cover back on, pull this thing outside, and pressure wash all this real fast, because it is a mess.
Hold on, let me come in the back.
I'd leave the intake open.
Yeah, we will.
Just leave it open. Clean out the motor a little bit. Yeah.
Kick you some water on. We decided we were going to throw that cover back on and push it outside and just pressure wash the whole truck, the whole front end. It's all nasty. We've never had this truck tore apart this far as the front end being off of it. So we're just go ahead and we're going to, we're going to do the gaskets and we're just cleaning it all up. That should definitely help us being able to, I mean, it's just gonna make it easier to work on more than anything, because it sucks getting, I mean, literally, see how dirty you get, and we didn't even do that much work, so this will just make life a lot easier, and just doesn't take much time, and it's really easy to do. Bailey got his, does that hurt? Bailey got his new wheels on. Looks good. Next step, we went ahead and cleaned everything. Now we're gonna take this throttle bracket assembly off, and he's just gonna pop these out real quick. Throttle linkages. Hit that, yeah, there you go. That one off here. Put all that stuff to the side. TPS. Now we're going to take the lines off of the engine. We're gonna kind of unplug all this stuff real quick, and then we'll get the lines pulled off of it. 3/4 inch wrench, 10mm bolts. There's these hold downs that'll hold it down to the engine, and then we'll go and take these bolts out of the VP. There's 4 bolts around it, and then there's a electrical plug right here. I'll just go ahead and pop it off. Try to. And then there's that bolt, and there's a keyway, and we'll probably turn the engine over to top dead center.
VP is off. Valve cover's off.
Now we're going to take the rocker assemblies off.
Rockers off.
Keep them in order and put them to the side.
You gotta pull all the push rods out.
But before we do that, we're gonna go ahead and change the tap cover while we're here. So we'll take the ECM off the side of the block, move all these out of the way, and we'll get that tappet cover pulled off, and I'll show you guys what we'll do with these dowels to just hold them up. And that way they don't fall down to the engine. I think on that other engine, we'll put it on the engine stand. We'll just turn it upside down so I don't have to go buy more wood dowels. Because if it's upside down, they can't pull out.
So, little carnage. Can't really tell in the camera, but this thing is trashed. You can see how bad it's been rubbing the compressor housing. So we got an eBay center section that we're going to put in it. And Skylar actually bought for his truck a while back. About to start throwing this thing on there.
So we got our rocker assemblies off, and it looks like a mess, but they're all in order for each cylinder here. And we'll just take the push rods out. You just go ahead and pop them up. These rear ones, there's 2 plugs in the top of this cowl. They're rubber. You can just push them up inside of it, and we never ever put them back in. Just being honest. As much as we take this stuff apart, so we don't put them back in, but you can. If it's like a daily driver and it's gonna be in the rain a lot, that way you don't want water running through your cowl and just draining on your engine. But we just pop them off and leave them up in there. Anyways, you pop that off, and they'll allow you to be able to pull these push rods out. This one right here is always a pain because it hit this windshield wiper cowl. Sometimes you can get them out depending on how the engine mounts are. But it looks like, I don't know, probably gonna be popping this cowl off, so we'll take these Torx bits out. We'll get this push rod out and get it out of here. Okay, so the Mason's right here. It's right there. So we got the valve train pulled out of it. We got the tappet cover off the side of the truck, and Mason's gonna work on pulling the vacuum pump off. And we'll come over here, and I don't know if I have enough. Hopefully I do. We take these 1/2-inch dowel rods, got them at Walmart, and you just hammer these down into the tappets, all down the side of the, basically where your push rod holes were, and it'll hold the tappet up. I'll have to show you here in a second. Like I said, we probably don't have enough because my dogs chewed some of them up. But I'll be able to, I've zip tied them before, but I don't know if zip tying them's gonna be safe enough on this scenario. We'll just have to see. Okay, so now we're to the point now where the next step is gonna be pulling the cam. Got the vacuum pump loose. You don't have to unhook all your power steering lines and stuff. You just take the 2 bolts off of the pump itself. There's 1 bolt back here that holds it to this bracket. You see this bolt right here? There's another one on the bottom side of it, and it runs to this bracket. So you need to take that off. Once you get that off, tappet covers off. I've already got one done here, but one side of this is like, we sand it down a little bit so it'll slide into this dowel here. You stick it in there, take a hammer, and I'm not scared to beat them in there a little bit because you can always get them out. And then you lift them up and zip tie them together. And then you put a zip tie right here and it holds them up. And then you can pull the cam out. So we'll have to do that 12 times, but like I said, my dog did chew some of these up. So we're gonna have to go to town to get some more. What these look like. Well, the bearing spun. So that's why this engine had noise. The lady said it had a little bit of a rod knock, and it looked like the bearing spun. Yeah, it did. So it spun a rod bearing. I will stick this back on and see if I can check the other one and see if that's the only one. They said that it sounded like it was coming from number 6. And leave a comment down below if you guys think we should rebuild this motor. We've never completely rebuilt one from start to finish, doing the bottom end anyway, so be a good learning experience. You guys want to see us do it? Turn it over so we'll check the next one. Spun number 6 rod. Yeah. This one's pretty gouged up too. Some marks in it. I wonder if they just ran it low on oil or what happened. The oil pump went out. I don't know. Said it ran when they pulled it. Yeah.
You ever take number 6 off?
Yeah. Well guys, this is going to conclude part 1 of Ppump swapping the truck. I kind of want to break this up into a couple different videos, so that way this can be a pretty simple process of, or just easier to follow. This is going to be part 1. The only next step we really have to do is pull these this cam out, and I'll show you how to do that at the beginning of the next video. But we got to run to town and get dowels because my dogs chewed up all these other dowels. So Bailey also did, I do want to touch base with you on a couple things. Bailey changed the center section out on his turbo, and he's just cleaning all the oil up that got spilled. And he also he built a catch can box for the truck, because this truck does make some blow by whenever you're pushing 70-80 pounds of boost. So he built this box. This runs back from the tappet cover all the way to here, and he's going to put 3 air filters on the top, and then you can drain it out after if you do a couple hard pulls. It'll fill up with some oil. It's just kind of one of those things you're going to deal with on a high mileage engine running 80 pounds of boost. So that it is what it is. But now we're going to go grab some to eat, get some supplies, and we'll see you guys on the next video.
I guess I could probably give you a run.
Well, how do you have that set? I was gonna say show them how it is turned all the way down with this big pump. If you get on it, like how far you can turn it down with the AFC. This is turned all the way down?
That's
all the way down. This is how drivable it is. 1,000 horsepower capable P-pump. All the way down. You can drive every day on that.
That's everything right there.
Well, like if you wanted to turn it up,
Or if you just want to completely turn it off.
just turn it off completely, and then you have full power.